Barely 5 months have gone by since the Inkpad Color 2 comes the latest release from the company, the Inkpad Color 3. Thank you to Pocketbook for sending us this sample. Realizing their boo-boo and now going with the latest Kaleido 3 screen puts this unit in the upper echelons of ebook readers. It is designed gorgeously from head to toe, featuring classy buttons, a solid build, and an unobstructed screen. Let us get into it. Let's look at the build first off. This is not the azure or mist gray. This is actually the stormy sea blue, they're calling it. The color wraps around beautifully around the entire bezel and shows itself a little bit from the front. The bottoms are cut a little bit to conform to your hand, which I very much appreciate, because if you had these going into your hand, it's a lot harder of a pill to swallow. You do have this back plate that comes off, revealing the FCC logos and everything like that, and some pogo pins that they've never sent us an accessory for. You'll notice there's tons of fingerprints on this. We alcohol our fingertips before each shot, but look at that. That's a lot in the short time we've been handling this. It is a very nice texture, however, it's not textured enough to block out all of that. You do have a USB-C on the bottom with a status indicator light that is always on while the device is on for some reason, and you do have a set of speaker holes with one speaker behind it on the side. Yes, this is the exact same thing as the Inkpad Color 2, released only 5 months after that unit. This is the 3, so if you want to check the full review of the 2, click the video link up above. But for now, let's take a look at it. You have the color guide, you got some books here, you got library, audiobooks, store notes, and apps. You tap the top, you get Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, dark mode, flight mode, and sync. Dark mode changes the entire device into black, and it flips the colors, basically, and you can do that again to bring it all back. You have a front light. Yes, the front light is recommended to be on. Reason being, on Kaleido devices, if you turn it off, look how it looks. It looks terrible. Everyone in the industry is faced with the same problem because that's the name of the game. It is Kaleido. So you have to find a nice kind of even white to match it to a pure white like the background here. You have these alerts. You can take those off if you'd like. You can just remove them, and this is going to be notifications for various things like your Pocketbook store, etc. If you guys don't know anything about Pocketbook, it's totally fine, but this is not a company or a device lineup that has apps in the traditional sense that allow you to sideload or even have any sort of speed modes on it. And the settings are typically just usual things like personalize, languages, all that kind of stuff. You do have key mapping, which I am kind of partial to. I do like this. You have global key mapping, EPUB, FB2, etc. And I actually allow you to change the bottom keys, and you can menu offer on, double press, home button hold, and they'll do different things. You can even choose what they can do. So you can use the home, single press, not hold as main menu, calendar and clock, screenshot, music player. You can choose it to do the music player individual functions. So needless to say, there is a ton of calibration and a ton of customization you can actually do when it comes to key mapping. You can also go to logos, and you can choose the boot logo and the power off logo. You also have some other things here like widget settings, which is pretty standard, but you do have the ability to add book recommendations on the home screen. When you guys get your unit, look through this. There's a lot here, and they do give it to you to kind of make your own decisions. They don't really lock you out like they do with other things like the applications. Applications down below, as we said, they do have some things on here as just kind of additional services, Dropbox, Pocketbook Cloud, and some things at the bottom like Sudoku, Scribble, coloring, etc. But that's it. They don't have the ability to even download from a proprietary app store, a Linux-driven app store. They don't have anything. So, for example, if we use color and I want to color a rocket ship, well, that's it. Whatever's here is here. I can choose red, I can color it in, and boom, that's red, the sky's blue, done. I'm done my rocket ship. So there's really nothing outside of that than the things they give you. But that's not what Pocketbook is about. Pocketbook is an e-reading centric company. They're about ebooks, they're about reading, they're about color more specifically as well, because they have color now on their device lineups. So if you guys want to see the full review of these, of course, you can look at the end roll, you can look at the previous videos we've done. We want to show the color screen because this is not night and day different than the Kaleido 2 version, except for the color panel. That's the only difference. Everything else remains roughly the same. So you do have some beautiful colors. This is not going to look as good as the Gallery 3 or even the Viva that they were going to make, that they have delayed for now at least. This one looks gorgeous. So this is a color example sheet PDF of what it's going to look like when you look at children's books, when you look at full kind of imagery, when you look at manga. It's all going to look like these examples. The colors are incredibly vibrant, and another beautiful thing about this unit, yes, they don't have speed modes, but that is good in a way because it eliminates user error. It'll only ever look perfect. You can't ever accidentally lower the saturation, put it in extreme mode, change the vividness, the color density, because it'll only look like this. They don't allow you to change any of the parameters in regards to what color is going to look like. They just have one set appearance when it comes to this. So in a way, it's a little bit of a downer that they don't have a speed mode, but it's kind of nice in its own regard. Now, of course, for ebooks, because this is Pocketbook and this is an e-reading company. The beauty about Kaleido 3 is that it's actually faster when you change pages as well. Latency and delays and refreshes have all been upgraded to certain degrees of percentages. 20% here, 27% there, etc. But yes, this is very quick, it's very fast, and honestly, it's almost like you don't need the speed mode. That is a concern of ours and a lot of people, is that if they wanted to, could they speed this up? No, unfortunately, there's just no way to do so. You do have the ability to long press your keys, and that all comes down to what you key map them as, because it's going to be different from PDFs, EPUBs, and global, as you saw during the key mapping section. Holding this in your hands, as we mentioned earlier, is quite nice because the sides are chiseled. They don't dig into your hands. It's very nice. You can turn pages with your thumb. You can tap, or you can use the buttons right here. Nothing is out of reach. They didn't put the buttons too far away from either side that you can't reach them. Even me, I don't have long fingers. My hands are very chunky, and I have no problem holding this. It is exactly where it needs to be too. It's not a note taker, so I don't need a big bezel that hides my thumb meat from the screen and prevents interaction, because that's not what it's for. You hold it at the bottom. It's portrait centric, although it does have a G sensor and you actually can rotate it like that, you can see, and it's all automatic. And yes, it goes 360, not just 270. So the reading experience is very, very nice. And of course, you do have colors, so you can take advantages of those color highlights as you see right here. Honestly, Pocketbook does e-reading the best. Do they do the best devices overall? Well, that's a little bit subjective, because anything with Google Play is going to beat the ever-loving snuff out of this device, because to be honest, when you have Google Play, you can do anything, but when you have a Pocketbook, you can't do anything. But what you can do is perfectly crafted for readers. The store is really good because they give you a lot of best-selling books. It's not just Project Gutenberg garbage that they put on here like some manufacturers do, and actually there's a toggle between the audiobook experience and the book experience. You actually have the ability to toggle between them. And what I like about this is that it doesn't take you out anywhere. It leaves you within here, and only the bottom 90% of the screen changes, and the rest of the elements remain the same. If you do click on something like The Pain Tourist, I don't know what that is, so please excuse me if I've embarrassed or offended anyone. I'm just clicking here. This is the ability to download a sample, and you can buy it for 15.99 euros. Down below, you get the release date, more books by the author, and you can click on more to get a synopsis of what's going on. You will also notice that there is almost a little bit of an inertia in A2 mode happening when you scroll. You can see right there, the second I tapped and moved, it went into a separate mode. Right there. Now, this isn't user controllable, and it is not global, meaning you can't choose a speed mode for it to do this, but it is actually allowing the device to go into an A2 mode when you scroll things around. If you do download a sample, it will take you over to this screen. From here, we can adjust the volume, make it all nice and super loud because it just sounds best, and the speaker is on the right here with the two little cutouts, so we'll listen to how it sounds.
When he
There's various things you can do from here. You can change the speed of everything, you can change the pitch, so you can really kind of burn through a book. If you see some of these books, like the Sherlock Holmes, for example, is 10 hours. So if you listen to it at 2 times speed, it'll only be 5 hours, etc. So it just comes down to your level of coherency with really fast, quickly read books, etc. So that is the gist of the audiobook experience purchase flow from the store over to the actual audiobooks, and anything you download as samples or have purchased will be in the audiobooks section, which is one of the selectable things at the bottom of the screen. Kaleido 3 screen, built beautifully and back to basics, true e-reader approach with a speaker for audiobooks makes this unit one to absolutely drool over. However, there's no ability to sideload in apps or download any additional apps. It's not very fast when it comes to UI navigation or keyboard, and there's no controllable speed modes to make anything faster or even smoother. But in the end, Pocketbook has never been a company that prides itself on customizing or crafting your own experience. These are the guys that have done the heavy lifting for you. They have a perfect e-reading experience with no distractions, no interruptions, and no fluff. For goodereader.com, thanks for watching.